Alright, alright, alright! So apparently I need to do this again. So you guys may have seen the video, Psychological Self-Attack of Gays Due to Codependence, and touched on, and it pretty much isn't just gays, it's codependence in general, any kind of group looking for love in the external world instead of finding it themselves. And isn't that what coming out of the closet is? Finally being okay with yourself, yeah, but maybe not. And it's hard to tell because we know the FBI and everything else that there are professional hired trolls to kind of stir the direction of the world, but that's it all started when I saw this. And I tried to play with it a little bit. So it says, you're able to call your parents mom and dad. They were not born with those names. Give me time. You'll get all the controversial regular Kevin. You're able to call your teachers Mr. or Misters. No, it's Mrs. I'm just playing. And their last name, but you'd get in trouble if you addressed them by their first name. You're able to call a celebrity by their chosen stage name. You're able to call your friends a shortened version of their name. You see how hurt this is, how dependent this is? Their middle name instead of their first, or a completely random nickname. You're able to call a married woman by her husband's last name, even though she was not born with that last name. When someone's transgender, how does not calling them by a name they were not born with somehow become and it probably says problem. But I can't afford to click it if it's larger than that, because I'm sure this guy erased his comments already. But I want to show you a little bit of trolling back and forth, where this guy starts off wanting to be upset that I actually addressed all these and made it kind of humorous, to lead up to ultimately that you shouldn't care. And that's the point I'm making. Guess that's going to be down here at the bottom. Okay, so yeah, obviously I always talk more than the other person because I don't care. I'm speaking for me, or I'm speaking for an audience, knowing that people are going to read it. Just like my videos. Like this one. So I play along with him a little bit, nevertheless. I also shared the link to that video. So I said, read this to the end. It's more positive than you think, but there's a setup to it. Oh boy. This isn't hate, but I see a lot of inconsistency, so the nerd in me has to go. I don't know why my TV switched off from the second monitor here. Anyway. One more again. Alright, so we're going to go back and reread this. Wow, okay, we made it bigger, which is actually kind of nice. By accident. I hate this mouse pad sometimes. Alright, so here's my point, right here. Mr. and Mrs. are titles, not names, and are a signal of intelligence and submission to that intelligence. They are large and you are small until you are a Mr., or a doctor, or an engineer, or insert other titles or entitlement here. Being able to call a celebrity by their stage name, yeah, we're able. Sure, anyone is able to. Sure, anyone is able to and may or may not. Some may call him lame. But the stage name, as you put it, would disappear in a personal relationship or in a private life. I doubt Tech9's friends or mother call him Tech instead of Aaron Yates. But I'd call him Aaron if I felt close. A persona is a persona. And even in the furry community, there is no such confusion or riddle. A fursona is a fur persona. Right? I'm not a furry, but hey, they get it. It's not all that they are. Like you being gay or transgender or whatever you want to identify as, that's one little aspect of the total sum that is you, right? So it's their favorite part. Able to call your friends a shortened name? Well, it depends on the friend. What if they're autistic or special needs? It might be entirely inappropriate, and you might not be that great of a friend to not call them their name, but instead, whatever the heck you want. My name's Preacher Pro. Okay. You might be able to... You say the marriage names, but this is a choice that the person being married chose, to sacrifice their name for that of which they chose to be one with the other. I always show a zero, but it's to show a whole piece, oneness. Which should make the last part pretty obvious. A transgender wishes to be called by a certain name. It's a hassle to remember the constant changes in personalities. I've seen some change their name 10 times as they transition. The first name is usually a close variation of their original, like Paul to Paula. It shouldn't be chastised that people call you or don't call you anything. And transgender is not who you are or what you are, but a part of what you've become. A part of who you are, I should have said. And it's perfectly fine if you want to be that. But trans literally means change, to transform. Worshipping any one part of a whole human, I find pretty silly, as well as refusing to be happy because people haven't mastered English in 1,000 years. I'm autistic. I can't keep up with language in general. The hate on people who don't clone you should stop. 1, it shows that you're unhappy. 2, it gives people power over you, the ability to hurt your feelings, something you should never give access to in words. Imagine if hello offended someone. It's very close. All of language, all movies, all dress codes. We need gay game characters. For you to love yourself? Why make a big deal if we truly live in pride? Right? This makes sense to me. So I'm pretty sure it's a troll, but nevertheless allowed myself to go back a little bit with them because I think that this information and stuff people should read, and I know some butt-hurt person's going to read it and maybe take part of it to heart and lighten up and be a little more free, release the black flame, release the shadow self, love themselves instead of repress themselves. Because in my opinion, what we're doing here is we're allowing language to oppress people. Or more particularly, people are allowing their preference in language to oppress themselves. I don't think the world should have to clone you. Be sure to check out, if you haven't already, Psychological Self-Attack of Gays Due to Codependent Strategies. So Dana Scribner, which I imagine is a dude, by the way that he talks, that identifies as a woman named Dana, because I've never really seen a woman talk like this. This is like dealing with an 18-year-old angry male friend. White. But you'll see. It's a big deal. People are killed, chastised, and hated because of it. Because you have a fucking name preference? I doubt that. Go get a name sticker. Go to a convention. I shouldn't be so vague, but okay. Let's read our comments here. So I said, not by me. They're not killed by me. People are killed for looking at someone wrong. So, and if someone is killed in your case for not adopting pronouns, wouldn't it be the person that didn't say the right word that was killed in such a case? Racism don't mean racism anymore. Science don't mean science anymore. A large rabbit hole has opened. And loving yourself solves it all. You don't spend time around toxic people. It's like where I read someone claim that gays are discriminated at the workplace, but no one has sex at the workplace, usually. And unless you're wearing a rainbow outfit or talking about some things instead of doing your job, it's impossible for anyone to know. Androgynous men exist, feminist men exist, sarcasm and creativity exist. These demands are of impossible to assume in advance without having a name tag way of talking to people will never work. Just love yourself. 98% of the world is codependent. Check out this video. I cover many controversial parts of the community in this video. The community is not controversial. Is that what I said? So this person's stupid on top of butthurt. And I mean, I just like using the term butthurt, but I guess it works even more apt here. Granted that we're talking about gay rights and treatment and such. So I didn't say that the community was controversial. I said that there's controversial opinions of the community. I cover many controversial parts of the community is not controversial. You don't listen. You don't read. You don't English. But let's read what you tried to say. It's how people treat and react to the community. It's just so hard when I don't walk away from things I don't like. You understand? He called me she. I broke down and cried. I mean, I get that you have a hard time, mates, people in this community sometimes. But this is literally why you're able to be repressed. It's because you're giving people the power to tweak everything about you over how they talk or don't talk to you, how they look or don't look at you, whether or not they approve of your own personal life, which belongs to you. So what's the big deal, you know? It's a big deal! People are shot and killed and chastised and hated because of it. If you say so. So, I'm not going to sit there and watch you shirtless for 45 minutes, read your bullshit Facebook comments. And the whole thing wasn't just Facebook comments. If you watch the video actually about 6 minutes in, I cover the articles and there's a lot of free verses. It's like freestyling on the subject and spitting legitimate psychological knowledge. But pretty sure this person's trolling me or just so egotistical. And that's another thing that's going to make it hard for the new world that you're trying to create accepting you. Is if this is what the community represents, this pure fucking hatred of anything that doesn't match themselves, which is what we're seeing here, in some cases. Here, we are seeing this. You know, I'm not going to hear your opinion. I won't watch your video. You could have skimmed through the motherfucker, you know, if you wanted. You could have actually had an open mind. If you got past a minute, you'd see that it's actually pretty informal. And if you got to, I think it was the 10-minute marker, you would have saw me say that I've had sex with men, women, and hermaphrodites. So, you're fighting yourself, not me, you know. Yes, love yourself, but it really fucks with someone when your whole support system, or the people who raised you, kicked you to the curb because of who you love and how you choose to identify yourself. Get the fuck out. You just went from sad to angry. You know, fucks with me, I'm so hurt. Get the fuck out of here. I'm not going to hear anything you have to say. You're going to believe what I believe and wear my outfits, or else. Or else what? Or else you hurt, not me. Not everybody else in the world. If the community wants to feel better, they gotta stop waiting for approval. Spread your fucking wings and fly. Release the black flame. For those of you that don't know, the black flame, or the shadowy self, is the side of yourself that you have been told isn't okay in the outside world. So it's the side that not many people get to see. If you just stop caring about that, or pretend like you don't, people can't fuck with you. You know what the power of a bully is? Being able to tweak your emotions. My mom used to say when I was little and I dealt with bullies, don't give them a reaction. What is trolling? So this whole very thing is ignorant. Were I not to know that I'm dealing with a troll, or vice versa. So, love yourself. Get the fuck out. Okay, good contradiction, buddy. Look at the first and the last sentence in the same paragraph. I'm sure you would be pretty hurt if your mom kicked you out of her basement, took your precious computer. Yeah. All this is so wrong, and I didn't really want to feed into it, but I did because it's too juicy. I couldn't help myself. I'm sorry. If your mom kicked you out of her basement, and I live with my mom, took your precious computer, I bought my computer, and chose to never talk to you again because you hump your pillow every night. So this guy's just trying to mudsling. Now here's what I have a hard time understanding. This is the rainbow pride. You don't seem happy and prideful to me, buddy. You seem scared and ashamed, and you're attacking people and spreading hatred, both of yourself and of others. How am I supposed to, or anybody else for that matter, who's less open-minded, accept you and love you and treat you all special and have you belong if what we're seeing is like what we see from the Christian community? Hatred for anything that doesn't match me. That's hard to understand. So I said you probe, I meant to say prove. You prove my point. Codependence. You need the world to echo you or you can't find happiness. You and no group, no type of person needs to be treated a certain way. If they have love, they have it. And they don't seek approval from others, of course. You can't watch the video. Of course you can't. And you hurl insults while you want people not to do that to you. You hurl judgment and hate, but you want people not to do that to you. And you wonder why you're abused or whatever. Codependency, brother. You're retarded. I know better than you. I know better than to argue with trolls. As one. Of course, if you allow yourself to be hurt by other people, you are legitimately retarded. By the way, let's should have spelled it with an I, but just to not disparage further groups that might feel one way about that word, retard means to slow down in tempo. So I'm really saying catch up. Love yourself was the message. Go back to your pedophile ring. This time now I'm joining him in the trolling. He's trying to insult me, so I'll reverse it just a little bit. Go back to your pedophile ring, the LGBTQ pedosexual O. And the classic argument is if O means other, pan, which means many or multiple or other, can't. So it's pedosexual, and you see memes of this stuff. But a lot of people would argue that that's just other trolls trying to tweak the movement even further. So, and this is one of those guys as an example. I'm pretty sure this guy ain't even gay, and he's just fucking around just to have somebody to fight with online. So I started to give him more things to use as ammunition, and he actually gave up. Which proves my point, I think. But there are some people in the community that act as entitled and special, and just like the girls who dress up as Harley Quinn or wear sexy on the ass of their pants. have this like ego complex that they're king shit or queen shit, but then like unless you see that too, it's a war. So I said, classic adage, Miss Codependent. Treat others how you want to be treated. Ha ha. You wonder why no one gets you. You're filled with hate for yourself and for the world. No wonder. Sure, bud. Yeah, I'm sure some Dana chick, some chick named Dana talks that way, right? As a gender. Do you see the confusion? Do you see it? Sure, bud. When's the last time you knew a girl to say bud even at all? A teenager with no home or parents, look at this guy reaching, man, is told they are a demon. What are you talking about, bro? Or to go to hell by their family. Are you really just up and love themselves? By golly, I think you figured it all out. Yes, actually, yes. What does Christianity even teach the Christians? Love thyself. What does Buddhism teach the Buddhists? Love thyself. You know? Be here now. Yesterday's insults are over. Tomorrow's ain't happened yet. Figure out your life and you can empower yourself in the moment, man. So yeah, it might be hard. Of course it's hard. I never claimed it wasn't a struggle. But that there are smarter choices you can make instead of empowering your fucking bullies. It just seems dumb to me. Teenager, I said to him. I didn't want to call out every inconsistency. I said, also, I literally worship Satan. You're silly as fuck. I'm a Satanist. Love you. I love all sinners. I get well fed. Yummy, okay. I think it's you that needs to practice some self-love. I don't need to make videos of myself in my Facebook conversations to feel validated. Need to? Get to. For every single person that I help, you know what I'm saying? For every good piece of feedback I get. For every little bit of person, I had an 87-year-old man come back to me in one of my videos and he said, thank you. I'm 87 years old and I'm just now figuring this stuff out. Keep doing what you're doing. That's why I do it. Which was the most touching thing I've ever heard from anybody. That's pretty cool and pretty humble, especially for an old person to not be a know-it-all and be open to say, wow, man, thank you. You know, so that's why I do what I do. It's really not important if I get only good reactions. That's your way of thinking. You need to only be seen as a good person, worthy of all this stuff and treatment, and in order to be happy. I don't need that. I can deal with people like you all day long, and it doesn't mean a thing because you're just some random loser on the internet trying to argue over shit you know nothing about. You're unhappy. So that just makes me automatically right because you could be happy, right? So I said, you realize how much time... let's go here. I skipped one. Assuming again. Gotta love how far you reached the Cobra. To feel Cobra. You realize how much time you're spending on me, right, hero? I'm trying to hint at him to argue with a troll is stupid. You know, like if at this point we're just arguing and someone ultimately really don't care which direction the conversation goes. Because the reason why I'm here is educating anyway. It's not to be right. It's to give information, ultimately knowing that everybody's going to sift through the shit that we said back and forth. Like, who was this guy who said all this shit for no reason? And at least one or two of those comments is going to help somebody. So they're going to be like, hey, you know what? You're absolutely right. You know, why do I care what they think? They ain't my wife. They ain't my husband. They ain't my lesbian partner, my gay partner. Maybe I should just fucking love myself. And it is that easy to choose an action. Now, to commit to it might be harder. You know, you're still going to get emotional negative feedback from people until you stop allowing it to matter that you get negative feedback. And that is like fake it till you make it. With practice comes perfection kind of thing. So now he took the Satanist thing and found something new to insult, right? Sweet. If you're a Satanist like you say, you would you would know literally half of Satanist, single Satanist, but half of one Satanist. So a half of a Satanist are of the queer community. Just more bullshit. Keep trying, bud, says the lady, Dana. Keep trying, bud. This is going to be her name now, while I make fun of him for the duration of this video, or her voice, his voice, you know. So here's an article. Let's see if well, I can't put it up at the same time because I chose the camera program to target just this window. But if you read it, actually I think I made a comment later on, so you'll see my point. Because I try to expand when I'm making videos. I read off a little bit of conversations. It's going to keep me spontaneously inspired to be passionate about different things and expand on different scopes. And some people like my stuff, so I really don't care that this guy doesn't. He didn't even watch it, they just like it, you know. So, He said, I said, half you say? So what? I never even said my identity. You have no idea, Lamau, right? Of course they do. Of course Satanists are gay, right? It's about true will, no limitations, absolute willpower, right? Even if you weren't gay, they'd probably do it. Because it's power over someone else. 30 men to tell... 30 men. There's a pun there, you know? To tell off a piece of shit seems worthless to me. So now you're anti-gay. Weren't you just gay a moment ago? Weird, man. You were offended and talking about people dying over the shit, and now you're calling them a piece of shit. I don't understand. Not labels and special treatment, I continue to say. I gave a marker to my video 34 minutes, 11 seconds in. Just to be clear, I'm quoting myself, this is not to be disparaging. I've had sex with men, women, and naturally born hermaphrodites. You could have been educated. This video is about codependence, not hate. You're simply unhappy, and so you find unhappy in all you look at. You know, for those who knock, the door will be open to them. For those who seek, find, always. You need a paradigm shift from self-loathing to self-love, and when you find that, you won't give a fuck what the other world is thinking and acting like in comparison to yourself. I've often said, and it's in my little satanic Bible I'm writing over here anyway, judge not your success or happiness compared to others, but based on your own past successes or happinesses, right? Your own past attempts. Okay, so I said, I'm in a gay relationship right now. Like most people, you missed the fucking point. You're looking for fights, and you will never have happiness because of it. I hope this video, and the one before it, really highlights the codependency. There is a... And most, this doesn't only apply to gays, mind you guys. It applies to just almost any label you can call yourself, any kind of separatist thing, while you want to belong while being separate. You know, instead of just loving yourself and being okay to be different. I'm autistic. I got a list of labels. I can give you all of them to make fun of me if you want to troll me further or think that you're trolling me and get no real reaction, but have me ultimately feed my video audience and Facebook audience to have stuff to think about to hopefully take their life a little more relaxed and enjoy themselves instead of acting like this guy and finding nothing but discontent everywhere they go, just shitting on themselves everywhere they go. When the bully leaves, as I said in the other video, you're bullying you up here, man. So I said you're looking for unhappiness. White male who makes videos of him ranting about Facebook shirtless is sure hetero. I actually was lazy and kind of upset with myself after the fact for not wearing a shirt because I looked fat while hunched over. Nevertheless, but who cares? Oh, that's right, you do. Sort of. Not about that, but I care about the world. Clearly more than you do while you're begging to fit in. I said, why don't you read? Is English too hard? Making yourself look awful, unaware, and unintelligent. This is the love that your LGB preaches, huh? This is the acceptance you want, huh? God help you. The point is to wake up to loving oneself like every other person who has, including gay satanic notable celebrities such as Lil Nas X. Since you wanted to use that, I can follow you anywhere you go, dude. Who talks greatly about the Carl Jung shadow repressed self topic. Release the black flame, kid. Be free. Or don't. I speak for the world. You can enjoy slavery to other systems if you want. Keep being oppressed. And then I quoted the article. Here it is, where he sent me that link, right? And he said, clearly I don't know half the gay people, half the Satanists are gay. Well, here's the fucking first things in that article. Creed said it would be a conservative estimate to say that more than 50% of our membership is LGBTQ. Interesting you don't have even your 1 point right, and we're on the same side, you're just looking for war. And this guy's ego, this is the problem with a lot of these ideas. You're demanding worship. That's not the same thing as self-love. You're never, ever, 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 ever going to find happiness in white America. If you want to see it as white America, you're never, ever, ever going to find happiness in straight America. If you want to see it as straight America, until you love yourself, literally, you know how you stop a bully? You know you stop people who fucking don't like you? Have a way better time than they do, and they get jealous of that shit. How the fuck is he enjoying himself like that? Why the fuck is he so fucking happy? And people want to hang around and emulate that kind of happiness. Not by bombarding people and saying, respect me while I'm a complete fucking asshole. Don't look at me different. Let me act different. So I said, hey, promise me you won't delete your comments, yeah? And I said, yeah, I did it because he gave up. And I made sure to keep the page open so I wouldn't lose it. Now, I have no idea what these other things floating in, but other people have, oh, sweet. I totally would say all of this stuff in person, just for the records. I even posted a Alex Jones meme. People, I guess, don't realize that I'm being playful to get them over that seriousness of it. Whatever you are, you are. It don't fucking matter. And if that's true that it don't matter, which is what you'd like us to believe, why are you making it matter? It's just so bizarre. So I posted the Alex Jones, and unfortunately it's not subtitled, but it's supposed to be, they're making the frogs gay, the famous bit that he did. Now, I'm having trouble with Facebook, so I don't know if, okay, it was just another one from him and then unrelated things, except for this one. Which, of course, it's not going to jump to let me find it, unfortunately. But yeah, so that's what's on my mind right now, because I actually was cleaning and I stopped to take a break and checked Facebook, and I just found that post, and I couldn't resist just being silly in the response. To me, it's silly. All this stuff is silly. You're able to call parents mom and dad, but they're not born with those names that aren't names, so you should be able to call me Cinderella if I feel like Cinderella. I can, but it also shouldn't matter to you, too. Neither one of us have to conform to each other's worlds. We've always had different kinds of people, gay, straight, some people in the wiggle room. We have 3 genders, male, female, hermaphrodite. There are natural hermaphrodites, we have different sides on politics, right? And then not everybody's all left or all right. Not everybody's all Republican and Democrat. We have other stuff. It's just they're less focused on and less chosen. People have their own beliefs. And then there's dozens on the list, You're not going to find, until we're all borged up with the Elon Musk chips and sharing each other's thoughts and downloading the internet to our brains, that the world is going to clone you. Like I tried to point out in one of my videos, and I will in the documentary upcoming about gender dysphoria and the transhumanist agenda. And again, there's nothing wrong with your particular interest. It's just I need people to understand that pushing the idea that we all need to be the same isn't how it's going to work. Until we get those brain chips, we're not going to be the same. And you're in for a little bit of a wait before all this technology is perfected. Trying to psychologically hypnotize and bombard people's subconscious through the media and all of these other ideas and not be able to feel comfortable with yourself unless the world around you mimics you, that ultimately is only going to hurt you and take a really fucking long time in comparison to just deciding one day. Which is what Satanist means to me, is it means I'm an okay person being a person. I don't have to be a Christian to believe in a wide spectrum of things. I don't have to be gay or straight. I don't identify as anything, really. This is the closest to anything I identify with. Free will. And you've lost yours. You're letting everybody dictate your actions and feelings over words and concepts instead of being in your own skin. Other people don't like it? So fucking what? So what? One day you should immune yourself to it. One day. One day you should say, oh well, fuck it. It took me a long time to get past my barriers. I wasn't always with this perfect head on my shoulders in regards to this sort of straightforward sobriety and emotional well-being. But one day you're going to have to, as I say, you can only be sick and tired of being sick and tired so much until you get sick and tired of it. And that's when you'll do something about it. The real question is, friend, fellow Satanist, fellow gay, or whatever label. I don't like labels at all. It's so dumb. When do you love yourself? When do you obtain enlightenment, say? When do you enlighten yourself on the fact that other people that are not your husband or wife or whatever you are, whatever label that works for you and whatever understanding and words you like, you and that one other person is all that matters. Your family, when you make a family of your own, ultimately fades into the past. You see them on holidays or whatever, maybe, But ultimately, they expect you to grow up one day and to build what they tried to build. Togetherness, and they might not have done it well. They could have mental illness. They could have anger. It could be as simple as anger. They could have hate in their heart every day. But you can't let that destroy your entire life. Asperger's is a developmental disease. You could say my mom did this. But it doesn't matter. I could blame her, I could hate her, I don't. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I've still learned to love myself. I'm a quirky, unique little dude. And for the same shit, and I thought this in 5th grade, so maybe this will help you with your young ass mind right now. I notice now, do I think I'm physically attractive? Now. Kind of. Do I see it myself? Not quite. I'll explain. I came to the conclusion in 5th grade, overly flattered by women, throwing themselves at me, wanting me in the school gymnasium. I didn't want to do any of that. I found that more off-putting. Anyway, wanting to just, I don't know you. You know? So it means different stuff to me. Nevertheless, what all of these behaviors around me taught me was that other people see me as attractive. So even if I don't, I am. And that allowed me to erase the barrier of self-loathing and self-hate. Instead of having to fit into the world's ideas or whatever, you know. You know, that's instead of having to see myself as one way and others having to match my opinions, I was like, well, people like me. And I did the same thing for every other aspect of my life. Being ADHD, being talkative, talking this manic and going this fast. And other ADHD people like it, but people without it might have a stressful time. But should I hate on myself for being hyper and having more energy and being able to multitask and do more things than the average person, but not being able to single task very well? No. Because it turns out, as many people that don't like me being rambunctious and energetic, there are an equal number of people that do. So, what about you and your label system? What about you and your sexuality? There are a lot of people that do approve and love you, but you're spending a lot of time invested looking for darkness and evil, so you find darkness and evil and it consumes your brain into being dark and evil against yourself. Shitting on yourself, hating on yourself, looking for the next big scare and fear, the next thing that's it's gonna take my rights away, it's gonna hurt my feelings. Until you stop letting it, friend. Don't be codependent, bro. Love you more than you love yourself, and that's a fucking guarantee. I'm Kevin Chaos.